one, may I request again Mr. Kush Katara to please welcome Mr. Addison Apu from Thinkuvate on the stage, please. Thank you. Welcome each and everyone, all the dignitaries, all the faculty members and the students. We are now discussing about the deep tech opportunities in India. Mic hand over to our today's moderator on the panel discussion, Mr. Addison Apu. Over to you, and panel discussion has been begun. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and good to start on time. we were already running 1 hour late. So maybe I can do the introductions, quick introductions, because we all know each other. So Anil Joshi is the managing partner at Unicorn India Ventures. Ashish is the founding partner and CEO at GrowX. Karan is the managing partner at Carrot Capital. Dr. Sunil Shekhawat is the CEO of Sachi Connect. So, welcome gentlemen. We will talk Hindi, English, and please feel free to use even Marathi if you know. So, first question, I'll start in the reverse order maybe. So, Sunil, you have been part of NASSCOM's Deep Tech Council and also run India's largest Deep Tech Accelerator today. So, आपके नज़र में Nagpur is a city now which is growing very fast. What are the opportunities, especially in deep tech, that you see to come out of tier 2 and tier 3 cities?
Thank you, Addison, and thank you for having me here. Specifically from tier 2, before I really make a comment, 2016, when I joined NASSCOM, early 2016, the number of startups, overall technology startups which are coming in India were 70% from the top 4 or 5 cities, Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi's of the world, and then there will be 30% coming in from tier 2, tier 3 cities. But today the order is totally reversed. Unfortunately, the way ecosystem around startup, which includes your mentors, investors, the corporate buyers, the enterprise buyers, that still remains largely located in those 4, 5 or maybe 6 or 7 cities. But the number of startups which are growing in the tier 2 and tier 3, it has created such a massive gap, especially when you are in a very, very early stage. You are between idea to TRL 2, 3 and all that. Incubators play a significant role there, but then even incubators have their own limitations. Deep tech, as in, if you look at the real opportunities, if you see the MSME ecosystem, you'll find a deeper density of MSME ecosystem in tier 2, tier 3 cities. And there, because of that, you see a greater opportunity of deep tech integration. And if you look at the overall deep tech thing, I think the best applications of deep tech are in manufacturing and hardware industry. Right? And I'm sure Ashish will cover a lot because they are very, very hardware centric VC. So MSME and startups, now emergence of startups in the tier 2 cities has created a massive opportunity, especially in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities like Nagpur, Aurangabad, the whole of this Marathwada belt, which has always been known for giving the best MSMEs of the world. So very much on the positive note that there is a massive opportunity to integrate deep tech in the MSME ecosystem beyond startups.
Thank you, Sunil. So we'll go in this order maybe, or we can jump. Okay. So maybe my next question is to Anilji. Unicorn has recently raised and closed its third fund. And I do believe that you will be scouting for opportunities. So what are the areas you feel in a city like Nagpur which you think they can develop, and maybe it is of VC interest, so that the deep tech ecosystem in tier 2 and tier 3 city can also develop? So what are the areas you feel they should look at, or it will be of interest from Unicorn's perspective?
Thanks, Edition. So our fund is actually deep tech fund, and I think almost around 70% investment we would be focusing on deep tech. And between three funds today we have around 50 plus companies in portfolio, and almost around 35, maybe 40 would be all deep tech. And interestingly, my 65% portfolio is from tier 2, tier 3 city. I don't have anything from Nagpur. Of course, I have invested in two Nagpur boys and we have a common investment in that. But the kind of opportunities what we have invested in tier 2, tier 3 that I can share. I don't know much about Nagpur in general, but I know that Nagpur also has one of the best education system in country. So I don't think anything stops them from, focusing on deep tech. But the kind of investments I have made, I have one semiconductor, which is a very high skilled that comes from, city of Trivandrum. I have one investment which is an underwater drone, and it's one of its kind in world. Only 3 companies do that kind. One from US, one from Canada. This company comes from Cochin. We recently invested in a Meditech company which is mapping brain hemorrhage. So what you can see from CT scan output, MRI. This company helps doing at low cost handheld. This company comes from city like Ahmedabad. I have done one very interesting investment in Mahavir city, Jaipur, which is focusing on DNA, and it's in animal husbandry, right? And they are focusing on improvising milk production. So if you look at country, though we are the highest producer of milk in world, but the average milk production per cow is somewhere around 14-15 liter, but whereas in countries like Israel or Australia it's 45. So there is a huge gap. So this company is helping improvising it. So I think from Nagpur perspective, I don't see talent or resources as an issue. I think people need to identify problem which they can help solving using technology. Today, I don't think investors have any, liking for city. As long as, commute is possible, as long as people are able to build, good solution for a problem which is scalable, I think investors would be lining up easily. So there is nothing, for city, but people need to come out with, solution for a problem which is scalable. That's what I can share.
Thanks, Anilji. Ashish, you may be one of the leading and maybe the most entrenched deep tech investors in the country today. Deep tech requires a lot of patient capital. You have portfolio companies like Pixel, Bellatrix, Pantheron, who we are a co-investor there. So what it takes to remain patient, what do you see in a founder? Because tier 1 में तो हमें पता है, there's lab facilities and everything. But tier 2, tier 3 maybe do not have the right, they are developing the infrastructure, it is still not up to the mark. So what they should do, and second piece is, the injection of the RDI fund, when it hits the ground, how do you see that changing the landscape?
I'll just kind of build a slight context around that, and just kind of bear with me with this response. See, if you look at the global map, and when you kind of do your classification, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and whatever you want to do that, if you put India as a whole, right, as a country, are we a tier 1 deep tech hub? The answer is no, right? A small country like Israel is far ahead. Obviously China, they have 30-40 years of experience building manufacturing, precision engineering, and so on and so forth. The US is ahead, and there are certain parts in Europe that's also ahead. But in the recent past, and when I say recent past, I'm talking 10-20 years, for me that is recent. We've seen a lot of people, a lot of folks here would have studied in US, studied in Europe, worked in those markets, and they've come back to develop in India and build those particular companies, right? And the reason why they're able to do that is because, to Addison's point, now there is an infrastructure. There is an infrastructure that there is MSMEs available, there's manufacturing capability available, there are tools and workshops available where you can prototype, where you can build your first set of products and take it to market, right? Now, Addison took some examples about some of our portfolio companies, Pixel. Some of you may have heard of Pixel or Pantheron or Bellatrix or Lightspeed Photonics. I can tell you with certainty that if you look at our and even the entire universe in India, all the deep tech founders, and you go back to where they come from the smallest of towns you can't even imagine, right? Go back and look at where Navees and Kshitij comes from. They're tiny villages in Maharashtra. They worked their way around, went to the best of the colleges, got this particular opportunity, built it. The reason why they picked up Bangalore or Hyderabad or a Delhi or a Chennai to kind of build, because there was an ecosystem present. But to my first point, that Indians who kind of worked abroad, now coming back to develop locally, imagine the next thing, that these entrepreneurs, who kind of building in these bigger cities, once they reach success, the heart is always to say, how do I go back and just kind of help the ecosystem in the places where I come from. So it's a cycle, right? The second aspect we need to understand, one is there's an ecosystem building. The second is, where is the demand? India had not generated demand for these deep tech companies. I'm building robot, I'm building chips, I'm building satellites. Who do I sell to, right? There are no buyers. There are no buyers. The Indian government is not putting in money behind. The large companies in India, they don't find utility working with machines because for us, labor is cheap. Employment is important, so we're trying to balance those strategic priorities. So that's important. But I think that has now fundamentally shifted. To your point around RDIF. RDIF is a research and development fund. 1 lakh crore rupees sarkar ne announce kiye hai to put in this particular activity. Outside of this allocation, 1 lakh crore kafi hota hai, for to fuel an ecosystem. Outside of this allocation, the government is now buying from all these deep tech companies, right? तो स्पेस में वो स्काईरूट के साथ काम करते हैं, वो पिक्सल के साथ काम करते हैं, वो बेलाट्रिक्स के साथ काम करते हैं, सेमीकंडक्टर्स में वो लाइट स्पीड के साथ काम करते हैं, पैंथरन के साथ काम करते हैं. तो हर जगह इस सिस्टम में अब डिमांड आ रही है. एंड दिस डिमांड इज नॉट स्मॉल कि भाई मैंने आपको 10 करोड़ का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दे दिया, 20 करोड़ का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दे दिया जो मेरे को 10 साल चाहिए एग्जीक्यूट करने में. These contracts are large numbers, 100 crore, thousands of crores, and they're now getting executed in matter of months or year or two. So, जब demand आएगा, ecosystem बनेगा, that's the flywheel we want, and I think we're getting there. Right?
Thanks, Ashish. Moving to Karan. Karan, you have been investing in smart mobility, electric vehicle space. Nagpur has a very big manufacturing base of companies. There is an industrial zone in Mihan as well. Mostly defense, but a lot of smart tech is coming there. So, within the smart mobility EV space in deep tech, like battery tech, charging, mobility, what are the trends have you seen? What are the type of companies that Nagpur should start to build which then catches investors' eyes?
Thank you, Addison. Let me start by saying that, deep tech as a definition has evolved over the years. At one point there was a lot of software, machine learning, where we used to say machine learning is deep tech, evolved into, artificial intelligence is deep tech. And today we, look at hard tech, or let's say, hardware, where we believe that deep tech, that encompasses a lot of deep tech. So, from that aspect, when we invest in mobility startups, we look at it from a hard tech perspective and a deep tech perspective. And we believe that every, EV vehicle is actually like a mobile phone on wheels that requires both software and hardware integration in order to, put a effective vehicle on the road. But over and above that, there are many areas that are extremely, let's say, technology sensitive and, very early stages in the Indian ecosystem, but globally they've evolved. And, literally starting out from zero is autonomous vehicles, which is one of the largest plays in the deep tech, space, where it encompasses, again, your software and hardware, growing from almost zero to multiple $1 trillion expected over the next few years. So, So we believe that there is a lot of plays in hardware that that where the firmware sits, that you can actually manufacture, whether it's Nagpur, whether it's Pune, across the city in industrial belts. Charging hubs is what is required. Wireless charging, we've invested in plays that does wireless charging. So you can charge a vehicle from a 25 centimeter distance, which is I think unheard of from a global perspective. There is autonomous battery swapping plays that we've also invested at. All these pieces will require to be integrated somewhere, and I believe that industrial hubs like Nagpur, Pune, on the outskirts of major cities will play a very large role.
Thanks, Karan. And now I'll do a general question where all of you should share your views. So deep tech is now the buzzword in VC world. Everybody is a VC deep tech investor nowadays. Fast forward next 3 to 5 years with geopolitics playing such a crucial role. IP sovereignty, talk of the town, that we should have hardware and software. Nobody should flick a switch and it is a blackout. Where do you see the next big set of unicorn, maybe not the right term to use, but next area of innovation where cities like Nagpur can also contribute? What sort of tech, what sort of new areas that companies would come up? And maybe all of you should share your views.
I think the main point is resilience for the country. We need to build sovereign tech. We need to push towards indigenization, and therefore stop reliance on an Israel or a Russia or whoever we buy, whatever we buy from, right? तो कोई भी सेक्टर पकड़ लो आप डीप टेक में, be it defense. अब defense में क्या हो रहा है, the way wars are being fought is very different to what we were used to. It's not about boots on the ground, tanks on the field. These are these small drones which are just kind of creating a menace, right? तो आप drones भी बनाओगे, आप counter drone भी बनाओगे, electronic warfare में आप करोगे, so multiple things. So defense is a huge opportunity. Space is an opportunity. Space में कोई satellite बना रहा है. Within satellite, we're doing Earth observation, we're doing RF analytics, we're doing SAR, multiple things. जब इतनी सारी satellites जाएंगी तो हमको launch vehicles चाहिए, what a couple of companies are doing. जब वहाँ पर इतनी satellites होगी, हमको debris management चाहिए, हमको data center on cloud चाहिए. So it's a huge multi-trillion-dollar opportunity where I truly believe, and I joke with my friends that in my lifetime I probably will not see high-quality roads in the country or clean roads in the cities, but we will have space supremacy. We'll reach a point where we have superior tech in that particular area, right? Robotics we need to do a lot. Semiconductors we don't have anything, right? And semiconductor silicon, building it up. Healthcare में बहुत deep tech है, be it drug discovery, be it genomics play, be it multiple other ways to living longer and living healthier. कोई भी sector पकड़ लो. अब आप नागपुर का specific जो question है, this is a hotbed for defense. Every time I read, I kind of realize, I would imagine, that could be a center stage. But more than defense, this is a place for high quality manufacturing. So satellite भी किसी को बनानी है ना, robots भी किसी को बनाना ही है, right? So multiple areas could just kind of open up in that area. कहीं कुछ भी कर सकते हो आप restrict मत करो, कोई area मत पकड़ो, शुरू करो.
One area where, because we also help one of the global giant, which is more of a philanthropic organization working in the energy sector, and I see there is so much of opportunity in the whole energy transition space today. And we were doing a pilot in Jaipur with some of the the transmission companies, and we realized the whole energy sector in itself, be it the transmission lines or the transformers or the whole control centers, they are very, very far away from basic level of digitalization. Basic level of digitalization. Forget about the leakage points which exist in the whole distribution channel. So energy is also one area where we are seeing a lot of new innovation which are actually getting support from holistically from the VC ecosystem as well as from the buyer side.
Yeah, just to add to Sunil's point on energy, there's obviously one of the key component is batteries, and therefore there's cell manufacturing, there's battery recycling, there's battery pack manufacturing. So from a manufacturing standpoint, there's so much of opportunity in this space. And Nagpur, we heard that Nagpur has immense amount of energy they can use the energy, and when they're a hub for defense, drones also require a lot of batteries. So that in itself is a large opportunity that I think Nagpur can explore. Unfortunately, actually, surprisingly, we haven't received anything from Nagpur. We do segregate all our deals, city-wise to see, and we haven't received anything in the mobility space from Nagpur, and we'd be more than happy to.
So I'll pick up from each of them bit, but more from Ashish, right? He expressed about government's involvement. But before that, look, India is one of the largest population. तो हमारा captive audience ही पहले बहुत है. Secondly, we are a developing country, right? तो infrastructure पे बहुत spend हो रहा है. It's not that government is not doing. Look at roads or rail or even airport, right? अभी travel issue नहीं रहा है. So जो opportunity है, I think सबके लिए, it's not Nagpur specific. Especially if you look at all greenfield वाले जो बात कर रहे हैं, look at space की जो बात करी आशीष ने. Today I think world में there are operational around 6,200 satellites, right? And it is anticipated that by 2030 it may be around 100,000. Discount करते हैं 70,000 होगी. Still we are talking about 10 times. ये 10 गुना जो satellites जाएंगी, and the problems what Ashish has expressed, they're umpteen. Launch करना है, बनाना है, components हैं. I have one investment where the India is known for frugal innovation. Founder के पास में पैसे तो उतने ही होते हैं जितने होते हैं. लोग देते नहीं हैं. I'm actually proud to share that when I was raising my fund, I just spoke to Mahavir and he said Anil done, right? So he was one of the few early investors, but सब लोग इतने lucky नहीं होते हैं, frugal होते हैं. तो this chap was building, he's trying to build data center in space जो आशीष बोल रहे हैं, but building that you need a specific components which are very expensive. एक कपलिंग आती है जिसका कॉस्ट 10 लाख है, वो बोलता है इसका 10 लाख कैसे दूं? He landed up building it. Now he has become the supplier of those coupling to the industry. तो उसका core business तो अभी भी building data center in space है, but he landed up building, innovating something which was not his core, but now he is a supplier. Since again same example, being frugal, he landed up designing buses, right, which आपकी satellite ऊपर लेके जाता है. He said, boss, मेरे पास में 5 crore नहीं है. He built it, which costed him around 1 crore plus. Now he is selling that for twice the price and making money, right? So this is, something space, बहुत innovation होगा. Look at, defense. It's not just, drones, but there are too many things, how you can protect. Cyber security would be the probably next frontier of war. How do you protect yourself? जैसे Sunil rightly, like you said, कि कोई switch ऊपर कर दे और power बंद हो जाएगा. Boss, it is only possible if you get invaded in the system. So how do I protect myself? India is highly underserved in terms of financial products. Look at UK, the kind of product solutions they have, insurance, right? ये सबके लिए open है. I don't think this is restricted to Bangalore में होगा तो ही बनेगा. I think Nagpur just need to look at what all they can grab. Again, very interesting thing, semiconductor, right? अभी कोई footprint ही नहीं है country में, right? We have so many beautiful colleges in Nagpur. I don't know what stops all these colleges to build basic facility कि आप fab lab, fabless facility बनाओ, encourage students. We don't have talent. I don't know what stops somebody go create an institute which develops engineers for this industry. है ही नहीं, मिलते ही नहीं है, right? So एक business तो बहुत है, but depend करता है कौन क्या करना चाहता है. So I don't think opportunity is an issue. There are umpteen opportunities. हमने fund बना लिया. When I started, we were probably 5th, 6th fund in country. In 10 years, today we have 500. 480 recorded है, 20 और होंगे जो शुरू हो रहे हैं, अभी announce ही नहीं हुए होंगे. So there are many opportunities, and there are people who are building, from different part of society and geography. बहुत opportunities है मेरे समझ में. I think it's not restricted to any specific geography. And I have umpteen examples, which I have one example, very interesting. I'll just take another 2 minutes. This is, investment from my first company, and invested in a first fund and invested in a company which, was working on robotic solution. 4 founders straight out of college, 2 intern. And we invested 60 lakh in that company based out of Trivandrum. Fast forward 7-8 years, today they have 425 people in team. 50 crore के करीब का revenue होगा, all product led. Interesting part, this small company have 65 people in R&D and state of the art R&D. तो करने को तो बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं, desire होना चाहिए.
Thanks. एक सवाल, how many founders are there in this room who are building deep tech companies? Put your hands up. Okay. So now, the floor is open. You can ask 3 questions to any of the panelists. Over to you. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Ayush Gaikwad, founder of Recura Medtech. We are building an orthopedic implant, specialized implant. I want to speak to Anil sir. Like, at what stage do you invest in like deep tech startups?
हमारा focus तो pre-series A और A है.
Okay.
But we are in process of starting a new fund, which probably may start looking at TRL 4, TRL 5 stage. Current जो हम करते हैं pre-series A, series A.
Thank you. Next. Anyone else? Yeah, there. To use.
Hello sir, my name is Maya. Last year I have attended the session, and the sir said that you need to find your way of idea, what you want to build it. So last year I have think that I will build on this sector. So my idea is that I will be building the app that will be growing the stage of the distraction less and focusing on the student empowerment more. So I'm thinking that finding the right partner for our company requires the most of it. Means the way of thinking you need to find it. Why? How can you find that the right person for yourself to grow with them?
Your question is how to find a co-founder.
Yeah. Means
Okay.
सुनील बोलो यार, आपका subject है.
Finding a co-founder is as difficult as finding the right life partner. How many of, it's a question I should not be asking actually, but पता चल जाएगा आने वाले time के अंदर. But yeah, it is. But you know what? If you look at the trend, a large number of successful companies, you will find the best team sets were the guys who studied together, either in their school or the undergraduate. Postgraduate वाले इतने example नहीं मिलेंगे. So which means it's the gelling up gelling up with the right mindset is more important than your educational wala combination. So school friends और undergraduate में आपको co-founders उस circle के अंदर मिलना ज़्यादा आसान होता है, और आपको दूसरा फिर वो मिलते हैं अपने job में. But post graduation के अंदर या PhD के अंदर, higher education के अंदर तब भी लोग मिलना थोड़ा मुश्किल होता है. Try to find out between your friends who is, thinking on those lines. Is there something that can be tried out? And it's always, there's no sure shot answer कि 100% तुम्हारा hit लगेगा ही लगेगा. शादी के बाद में बहुत divorce होते हैं यार, बहुतों के होते हैं.
So I'll just add to Sunil, तो उसने शादी वादी की बात करी, तो तुम अपने लिए सुंदर लड़की देखोगी, लड़की होगी तो handsome लड़का देखेगी, right? So that apart, look for somebody who is compatible to you. Don't mirror yourself. If you are good in something, typically होता है कि you try to find people who are like you. I think that is an again recipe for failure, because जो चीज़ आप कर सकते हो co-founder भी वही करेगा, तो it's not helping. You has to be 1+1, not 2, but 1+1 looks like 11, right? So look for one who is compatible, complementary. If you are good in technology, maybe somebody should be good in execution or marketing. I think if you follow these 4 or 5 traits, you will find someone.
One more question. Finding
One question. There's one more gentleman there who will want to ask a question.
no, it's simple one. Means more than one founder or two founders only. For
यार मेरे पास एक कंपनी जिसमें 6 फाउंडर्स हैं, एंड एक कंपनी जिसमें खाली सिंगल फाउंडर भी है. तो डिपेंड, यू हैव टू हाउ मच हैवी लिफ्टिंग यू कैन डू, बट आइडियली एज अ वीसी आई एम मोर कंफर्टेबल विथ 3 co-founders.
Infosys are 12, ठीक है. सो नंबर डजंट मैटर, क्वालिटी मैटर्स. पहले आप जाओ, लोगों से मिलो, देखो कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री स्किल सेट्स कहाँ पे हैं, एंड देन ट्राई एंड गेट अ पर्सन हु अंडरस्टैंड्स योर विजन. यस
Sir, this is Dr. Ravindra Jogekar from, I'm head and associate professor in Julelal Institute of Technology. This is not a question, this is just help which I need from Anil sir. This is a very good opportunity for the students that the students can be able to make the underwater drones. My students are doing in IoT and on the drones which is on the means above sea, above water levels, mean on the ground level. So how you and your company or somehow some things which can be get for my students to help them out to do some innovative ideas, some innovations in underwater drones.
थोड़ा सा तो क्राउडेड स्पेस है अभी इसमें. जिस कंपनी में मैंने इन्वेस्ट किया है, एक्चुअली हैड बीन सीइंग देम फॉर लास्ट 7 years. फंड 1 में भी था, फंड 2 में भी था, बट फाइनली इन्वेस्टेड फंड 3, बिकॉज ड्रोन बनाना मुश्किल नहीं है, उसका यूज केस बनाना एक इशू है. स्टूडेंट्स को बोलिए इफ दे कैन आइडेंटिफाई अ प्रॉब्लम, लेट मे बी दे कैन बी अ वेरी गुड हेल्प. मिनिएचर कुछ बनाए विच कैन हेल्प इन फिशिंग, तो हो सकता है फिशर मैन वुड लाइक टू यूज इट टू इम्प्रोवाइज देयर प्रोडक्टिविटी, राइट? या कुछ डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट में कुछ करना हो, तो इनफैक्ट देयर आर लॉट ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटीज. बट मेरा एक सजेशन होगा, सुनील सर एक बहुत ही बढ़िया प्रोग्राम चलाते हैं, राइट? इज वन ऑफ द लार्जेस्ट प्लेटफॉर्म फॉर डीप टेक अपॉर्चुनिटी, राइट सुनील? मे बी स्टूडेंट शुड लुक एट talking to institutes like or companies like them, or maybe incubators which are focusing on deep tech will really help. हम लोग थोड़े लेट स्टेज के हैं, बट मेरा एक ही सजेशन है कि ask them to identify problem and then build product around it. प्रोडक्ट बना के फिर उसका सॉल्यूशन ढूंढोगे तो थोड़ा तकलीफ होगा, बट ऑनेस्टली स्पीकिंग अंडरवाटर ड्रोन इज नॉट अ टफ थिंग. उसमें जो आप सेंसर्स लगाओगे, उसमें आप जो टेक्नोलॉजी इंटीग्रेट करोगे, एंड दिस विल बी ड्रिवन बाय द प्रॉब्लम व्हाट यू आर सॉल्विंग, right? So I have this company which is now building, helping identifying threats in sea. तो सिग्नेचर पढ़ने होते हैं, तो आपको वो सेंसर्स लगाने पड़ेंगे सो दैट यू कैन रीड दोट सिग्नेचर. सोनार है, हीट है, अगर इफ न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब है तो इट विल गिव डिफरेंट सिग्नेचर, राइट? तो यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई, उसके लिए सेंसर्स लगेंगे. ड्रोन इज नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम, एंड योर कैपेबिलिटी टू गो डीप इन, दिस इज व्हाट आई कैन सजेस्ट सर.
सर वही मुझे बैठे बैठे अभी एक छोटा सा आइडिया आया था यहाँ पे कि जैसे कोई नदी में कूद जाता है तो उसको ढूंढने के लिए, या फिर नदी में कुछ गिर जाता है, हम तो स्टार्ट वहां से करना चाहते हैं सर, क्योंकि हमारे पास में स्टूडेंट्स हैं.
I'll not name a company which actually lost $500,000 worth of a kind of drone. तो बहुत कोशिश किया, नहीं मिला, but then they came to this company and they helped them identify, and they did more as a help, but they landed up paying something around 10 lakh for finding a drone which was $500,000. तो सर बहुत opportunities है. Same company has sold 4 drones to one of the government for disaster management. फ्लड आता है, बॉडीज फ्लोट होती है, अंदर चली जाती है उनको ढूंढने के लिए, राइट? अपने एवलेंच आते हैं, बर्फ के नीचे बॉडियां फंस जाती है, हाउ डू यू फाइंड, राइट? तो टेक्नोलॉजी हेल्प्स देयर. सो इफ यू हैव identify problem, you can build solution.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, more question. That's the last question.
Hello. Sir, my question was like simple. Coming from a commerce background, how I can go in deep tech?
इसका सवाल मैं दे सकता हूँ. आई एम अ कॉमर्स स्टूडेंट, सीए पे सब पास किया है. समझने की शक्ति जितनी बढ़ते जाएगी उतना डीप टेक के बारे में धीरे धीरे नॉलेज बढ़ता जाएगा. फंडामेंटली सब फिजिक्स बेस्ड है, ठीक है, थोड़ा बहुत मैथ्स भी है, लेकिन सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ है आइडेंटिफाई द प्रॉब्लम. ठीक है, देयर आर लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु कैन हेल्प यू. ठीक है, अपनी कंपनी पे आप सीटीओ मत बनना, अपनी कंपनी के आप सीईओ बन सकते हो या सीएफओ बन सकते हो. ठीक है, लेकिन जहाँ टेक्नोलॉजी का सवाल है, टेक्नोलॉजी एक एप्लीकेशन है. इट्स एन एप्लीकेशन. हाउ द प्रोसेस वर्क्स इज अ प्रोडक्ट, अ प्रोसेस. उस प्रोडक्ट को डिजाइन किया जाता है और उसका एक यूटिलिटी होता है. इट रिवॉल्व्स अराउंड दीज 4 मेट्रिक्स. ठीक है, so if you are wanting to do something in deep tech, find a like-minded person who wants to build something in deep tech, and then you can go along. It's you have to learn. Basic thing is that.
I think you have an unfair advantage to some extent, and I'll tell you why. Because most deep tech founders are very technologically savvy, but don't know how to build companies. And for investors like us, company is what is important. So therefore, as Edison obviously mentioned, that you need to find somebody who's, technology, you can find a CTO, build, around that. But building a company is the most important thing. The most difficult thing that we face is investing in technology heavy founders who don't know how to manage an entire company in itself. So, use that as your cue.
That's it. Thank you. अच्छा, एक और सवाल पूछिए. How are we doing on time? Cut. 5 minute. Last question. आप, sir, please go ahead.
Hello, I'm Dr. Rajesh Timani. I'm working as a head of the department in one of the management schools here in Nagpur. I also we have started up with one Shunya Axis. Now, what we are doing with it is, my wife is good in MSc in chemistry. I am from engineering background. So we piloted one project wherein we are trying to capture these artisans from Tumsar and Bhandara belt. Therein we are replicating the ancient process of casting and crucibles, and we could do it. So like this we are doing one in heritage, one in agriculture. So during all these pilots, what we have seen is, we were not kind of initially कि हमको startup and ये सब करना है, but now we have lot of data points wherein we have actual data of, say, replicating something which is related to ancient technology, and we are cross-checking it with scientific labs. So this is a common thread wherein we can find that we are having a lot of data sets now. Now, I don't understand deep tech to kind of its really core. How you think we can be innovative, and we are focused basically around all the districts of Vidarbha where there is a specific strength and we can do something with this kind of background. That's what we are looking into, and we are really able to target certain specific districts regarding this. Can you tell us how we can be innovative and really connect to what you guys are giving insight about deep tech?
सबसे पहले आप इस आइडिया को एक कंपनी में फॉर्म कीजिए, ठीक है. उसके बाद किसी यूनिवर्सिटी में जाके इंक्यूबेट होने की कोशिश कीजिए जहाँ पे आपको सेक्टर एक्सपर्टीज मिले. मे बी यू कैन गो टू शिवाजी एट IIM नागपुर और कुशल इज हियर एट रायसोनी. गो एंड देन मिंगल विद द सेक्टर सब्जेक्ट मैटर एक्सपर्ट्स, बिल्ड अ कंपनी आउट ऑफ इट. देन यू विल रियलाइज कि वो हॉबी है, आइडिया है या बिजनेस है. जब आप वहां पहुंच जाओगे उसके बाद फिर नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Thank you everyone. Thanks for patience and listening.
And I would love to thank you to all our extreme panel dignitaries for sharing their valuable insights. the time and experience during today's discussion. As a token of appreciation, we would love to, and we would now like to felicitate our panel dignitaries with the mementos, and for that I would like to call Mr. Abhijit Khandagare, Startup Ecosystem Enabler, to please welcome and felicitate by the help of memento to our dignitaries on the stage. Firstly, request to Mr. Khandagare to please felicitate Mr. Anil Joshi from Unicorn Ventures on the stage, please. Thank you so much, sir. Once again, Mr. Abhijit to please felicitate by the help of memento to Mr. Ashish Taneja from GrowX Ventures. Thank you so much, sir. Again, Mr. Abhijit to please felicitate Mr. Karan Mittal from Carrot Capital on the stage by the help of memento, please. Also, I request Mr. Abhijit to please welcome and felicitate by the help of memento to Dr. Sunil Shekhawat from Sanchi Connect. And lastly, today is our moderator from the Thinkuvate, Mr. Addison Appu. I request to Mr. Khandagare to please felicitate and give the memento to our Mr. Addison. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Please have a seat and enjoy this time. Photography team? Yeah, took a group photograph here. Once again, this is Anchor Ankita More in front of you, and very warm welcome behalf of, in today's event, which is the Khasdar Audyogik Mahotsav Advantage Vidarbha 2026, in the theme of empowering growth, Vidarbha's Mega Industrial Expo, Business Conclave and Investment Summit. And today we are discussing about the few topics. Now, all the dignitaries, faculty members and the students, next panel discussion is going to be started by 2:15. So I request to everyone to please be here by 2 p.m. onwards. Thank